It's time for another episode of A Little Drive. On today's episode, my great friend Michael comes along. We're going to talk about nostalgia. We're going to talk about underestimating pro wrestling. And we're even going to talk a little bit about anger. Deep subject. Let's go for a little drive. Welcome to today's episode of A Little Drive. This month's episode, actually, because we are a monthly podcast. On the show for this month, I have an extremely good friend of mine. We've been friends for 25, 26 years, maybe. Today's guest is Michael. Michael, welcome to the show.
Yo.
How you doing today?
Doing good.
Yeah?
You know, tired.
Tired?
Tired.
Tired, been working a lot?
Yeah.
That's good. That's good. Hey, work makes money. You know?
Yeah.
And you and I, we can't buy video games without money.
That's true. Very true.
See, I only speak truth. So, welcome to the show. Mm-hmm. As is the standard format, what I'm going to do first is I'm going to ask you if you can please tell our listeners the story of your childhood. What was your childhood like?
Well, childhood was, I guess, a pretty normal one. You know, can't have no complaints over it. You know, have a mom, dad, love me very much. You know, pretty much.
Okay.
Wasn't nothing big. I left a boring childhood.
Okay. So, you are from Glendale.
Yes.
You're like me. You're still there. It's a city that, it's like Glendale's like the mafia. As much as you try to get out, it just sucks you right back in. What were you into as a kid?
Kid, let's see, 80s. So probably G.I. Joe, Transformers, Mask, stuff like that.
Ninja Turtles.
Ninja Turtles were more 90s. But that's when I was older, yeah.
Well, it came in 85.
It did?
85, man. 85.
I barely remember what I do yesterday, man. I'm old.
Yeah, I know. Same here. I tell people that a lot. They say, "Oh, remember when I told you this thing a month ago?" And I say, "I don't even remember what we talked about yesterday." So, no, I don't remember this thing that we talked about a month ago.
Yeah, but mostly about that, was just the cartoons and stuff like that around those times,
Mm. And Nintendo.
Nintendo came. I think Nintendo came to the late '80s.
That was also 85, buddy.
Well, no, but I didn't get until I think close to the '90s, or 88 or 89.
Sounds like a personal problem.
It was.
I think Turtles may have been 89, so
possibly,
you
yeah.
might be right there.
I think it was.
Apologize.
Well, I think it came towards the end of the year, probably towards the end of the year. I think they probably
tacos.
I think they probably released it probably around the beginning of a school year or something like that.
Possibly, yeah.
So I think that so they have kids have stuff to watch or something like that.
Yeah, and then the first movie came out in 91.
So yeah, it was probably the late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah, probably. I think 89. 89 is the number in my head that is kind of ringing.
Yeah.
And I mean, if it came out in 85, who waits 6 years to make a movie? Except the Masters of the Universe movie. That took a while to come out with the rights and production and everything. So, did you have a lot of toys as a kid?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah.
What was I know from my personal experience with being your friend is that you seem to gravitate more towards Transformers and G.I. Joes.
It was first it was Masters of the Universe, then it got to Transformers and G.I. Joes.
Okay.
So yeah, the first was more Masters of the Universe.
Okay.
Because there are more durable ones.
Yeah, they were very sturdy toys. Do you remember? And I actually was telling my mom about this maybe a couple months ago. Do you remember when we would hide Moss Man in your backyard?
Yes, I could.
And we would have to search for him.
And I remember one time we couldn't find him.
Well, that's the whole point. for the listeners who need an explanation as to what we're talking about, Masters of the Universe was this toy line that came around like 1982, maybe 83. I was in kindergarten when it came out. I do remember that. So it was definitely early 80s, and it was about these the toys were these jacked. They were all like really, really buff and veiny, kind of intergalactic barbarians, if you will. And they all had different characters. And there was this one character named Moss Man. Now, moss as in grass, as in the stuff that grows on rocks. So he had this, fake moss coating. And Michael and I had this game where we would hide Moss Man in Michael's backyard, and the other person would have to go and actually search for Moss Man. It was fun.
Yeah.
It was challenging.
Till I couldn't find him.
Yeah. I think we eventually did find him.
No, I remember running around in the backyard and I stepped on him, and like that's how I found him.
Well, wouldn't
So I think you just put him on, you didn't try to be, you just went like, well, let me just put him on the floor, and then I couldn't find him.
Oh, so you're blaming me?
Well, no.
That's what you're saying. You're blaming me.
No, maybe that was a different one. Like I said, it all gets fuzzy around that time.
It kind of reminds me of when I was a kid. My family and I were at the beach, and I had a Luke Skywalker X-Wing pilot figure, and we were, I was playing in the sand.
Did you bury him and lose him?
Yes. Okay, so here's what happened. What happened was I had dug up some sand. I got my Luke and I put him in the sand, and then I buried him. Not too deep because I was a little kid and I had little hands. And I put an X right over him so I knew where he would be. I turn around and I'm playing with some other toys, and eventually, my parents say, okay, it's time to go. I'm not going to forget my Luke X-Wing pilot. So I turn around and I see where the X is, and I take the sand away, and he's gone. I've never forgotten that. Nobody came and, undug Luke, took him out, and then put the sand back and put another X there. So what happened? Why did my Luke disappear?
Are you sure nobody did that?
I was right there, though. My back was to him for maybe like a half hour.
But see, there you go.
Who takes a child's action figure like that? What's up with that? What a bunch of jerks. A Little Drive is not brought to you by Nintendo, makers of the stupendous Nintendo Switch. If you've been curious about whether you should buy this new video game gadget, even though you don't like video games, give it a shot. It's actually really cool. It is a near perfect console that you can actually take with you anywhere you go. Just make sure you have a carrying case. You don't want to drop that thing. So you were an only child.
Yes.
Up until what age?
Oh God, I think it was the last year in high school. No,
I think we were still in junior high.
Junior, yes. So I was first year in high school, and you guys were in junior high. Yes. Yeah. I don't know what age I was.
Okay, so maybe like 14.
Wait a second. Maybe 15, 16.
Okay.
Somewhere, yeah, I'm gonna say that.
So I've always grown up with a sibling. My sister, she's 6 years older than me. So I don't know what being an only child is like. You were an only child for, 15 and 16 years. What was that transition like for you?
Didn't really notice much about it because when little and everything like that. I do know there's like a. I'm not as close to my sister as I probably would like to be.
Mm-hmm. Do you think it's because of the age difference?
Age gap, and then I think I just went through like a phase of just like being angry all the time and just didn't.
I remember that phase.
Yes. Just went angry and everything like that, and then I didn't just did my own thing, and that was it.
Yeah, I think a lot of because that happened when you were in your mid-teens, and I think a lot of people who are in their mid-teens go through that. Not everybody,
Yeah, well, no.
but a lot of people do. I know I did. I know I had a lot of misdirected anger at one point. I don't know why. Like my parents were great, my sister was great, my home life was great. What the heck was I angry at?
Yeah.
I think for me, one of the things that kind of changed my personality, and I'm still trying to get back to, because I was a pretty happy kid. I think for me, like listening to heavy metal music kind of um, tarnished me a little bit, because the heavy metal music I was listening to, whether it was Metallica or things that Charlie was lending me, it was aggression, and it was anger, and it was anger towards a system or other things, and you buy into that anger. You're like, yeah, that's right, that is messed up, even though I did not experience the same thing that person did, and that's just a theory, as to why I kind of became such an angry kid.
Dude, I don't even know why I was angry. To this day, I don't. I was just angry.
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to explain. I mean, it's a human emotion. We're human beings.
Yeah.
And we just didn't have an explanation as to why. We were just pissed.
Yeah.
Wake up, you put on your black shirt. You're like, you know what? Damn it! I hate going to school. Why? But that's that.
Yeah.
Pretty much. So, what are as you kind of grew out of that phase and you started moving into your adulthood, what are some of the things that you started enjoying as that kind of, not yet as an adult, but kind of coming into your own? Because at that point, we're kind of breaking away from like a lot of the likes that we had that our parents liked, right? Our parents maybe liked baseball, for example. But then as we get older, we start to kind of do our own thing, and then maybe we don't like baseball anymore. That's just an example. What are some of the things that for you started to kind of discover on your own and say, hey, you know what, I actually really like this. Let me go ahead and look into it a little more.
Wow.
That's a pretty deep question.
Oh yeah, it is, because like pretty much it's like everything I liked when I was little, I still like now. I'm like, I'm like, the only thing I probably could say is like I got out of sports.
Okay. Yeah, I remember you used to be into basketball and baseball.
Yeah, well, I used to play soccer when I was little, but then I just sort of got out of it. Mm-hmm. I used to like baseball. I'm like, I still like baseball to a degree. But I'm like, I used to follow sports and everything like that. But then just after a while, I was just like, I think it was just like, I think I just got this out of it, and everything was just, whenever some team wins, doesn't make a difference whether I like the team or not. Then like you watch the news and the fans go crazy over destroy stuff, and I was just like, why? I'm like, why? It's no, you didn't. I'm like, I just go, you honestly didn't. You guys didn't do anything. They're the ones who did all the work and did it, and yet you're destroying everything. Why?
Yeah.
So I think I just got out of that because of stuff like that, and it was just like, it is what it is. I mean, every once in a while I'll watch stuff, but I'm like, I'm not big into sports anymore. I think I started getting more into watching wrestling, like WWE stuff.
Yeah.
More into that.
You've always been into wrestling, though, right?
Yeah, but I think that's when I think in the 90s is when I started looking at other ones. When I think the beginning of the internet, and when you're able to like go on the internet and starting to see like all these little small promotions pop up, and
like ECW.
Well, ECW, or you just had all these other things where they would have like very early web pages, and you get to have pictures of what these wrestlers look like and everything like that, and just get to see like, wow, there's something else besides WWE.
Yeah, which was WWF at the time.
Oh yeah.
ECW, for those who don't know, is actually Extreme Championship Wrestling, and it was an independent promotion out of Philadelphia.
Yes.
Right. And they were extremely violent. They had matches where they would slam wrestlers onto a bunch of thumbtacks that were put in the ring. They would have guys jump from the scaffolding in the upper areas of the arenas. They would have guys like New Jack throw guys through like a series of stacked tables. Yes. Same thing with the Dudley Boys. So that was definitely something at the time we really hadn't seen before. And as kids, well, teenagers, you were a year older than I
Yeah.
was, but that was something that when you watched it, it was just really fascinating to see the kind of things that they were doing, lighting each other on fire and whatnot. It
Oh
definitely
yeah.
wasn't what we were seeing in the WWF at the time. Now, I wanted to ask you two things. The
Yeah.
first one is I wanted to expand on you saying that you were pretty much, or you're pretty much into the same things now as you were when you were a kid.
Yeah.
Now, some people think that nostalgia kind of changes our perspective on things, where we can like something as a kid, but then we see it as an adult and it's like, oh God, this is actually pretty bad. Have you experienced something like that yet, where something you really enjoyed as a kid just doesn't hold up as a grown up?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
To me, well, it still holds up, but it's like Star Wars, the well, not episode 4, 5, and
the
6.
original Star
Yeah,
Wars
everybody
trilogy.
talks so good about it, but when you watch it, you're just like, dude, it's not really that good.
Mhm.
So I'm like, everybody keeps making a thing like going, oh my god, he's ruining our childhood. And thing going, well, you look back, the movies aren't really that good. They're like, the only person that a good who was even close to being an actor was Harrison Ford.
Yeah,
I'm like, or first one, Alec Guinness. Okay.
yeah, yeah. Rest in
And
peace.
and a lot of the supporting cast,
Mhm.
the Grand Moff Tarkin and stuff.
Yeah.
But like out of the main characters, there's like a bunch of nobodies, and they weren't really. It's like it's just a lot of people. I think a lot of people get stuck in the whole like, oh, this is a childhood and it's so good. I'm like,
They're stuck in the nostalgia.
yeah, and I'm like, it's good. I like the movie. I don't hate the movie. It's like I can still watch them. I'll watch them all the time. But it's just when people are like going, it's like, dude, when you look back, they were really not that good of movies. I'm like, when like everything's so slow paced and the fight scenes and everything like that, and compared to even the prequels where everything's a little bit more fast paced, and then it's all of a sudden it's like, wow, it's like you just want to go, whoa, so why did all of a sudden the Jedi just started fencing?
I feel similar to how you feel. Um, you know, of the original trilogy, the only one I truly like is Empire Strikes Back, and it's one of my favorite movies of all time. But it's because of the topics that it brings up, and yeah, there's a little bit of nostalgia tinged with it. But the first movie, not much happens in the first
Yeah,
movie, and then in Return of the Jedi is kind of silly, and it kind of I don't know. I watched it a couple years ago, and I hadn't watched it in a really long time. Return of the Jedi, I
yeah,
mean, and um, through a lot of the movie, I just kind of went, ugh,
yeah,
and tastes change. Um, People's tastes evolve to something else. For example, I don't listen to heavy metal anymore, and it was a genre that I really, really loved between the ages of 14 all the way up through 36. But now I don't enjoy listening to it anymore because my brain, my life is just in a different
yeah,
place. I listen to a lot of right now. I listen to a lot of rap music. I listen to a lot of R&B, and it's just right now what I want to listen to.
yeah,
With Star Wars, a lot of people they're just holding on to their nostalgia, and then the prequel trilogy comes out, and people don't like it. But what they're not really listen or understanding is that when a Star Wars movie comes out, or a Transformers movie, or anything that is tied, Power Rangers, for example,
yeah,
anything is that is tied to something that was made in the past, they're not making it for that specific individual who was touched by it as a child. They're not making it for that person. Hey, they're doing it to make money. They
yeah,
say, oh, this was a popular property. Let's make some big giant movie out of it and make a lot of money. But they want it to be entertaining so that a lot of people enjoy it,
yeah,
not just him or her. Um, you know, the the last Star Wars movie, The Last Jedi, it came out and it was pretty divisive. Some people seem to love it. Some people seem to absolutely hate it. I loved it. I thought as a film, I'm a film school guy, right? As a film, the way it was made was very good. And it was my favorite Star Wars movie since The Empire Strikes Back. But then you have a lot of people,
Paul.
Yes.
Yes.
Who just won't let up. He says that the movie was trash. He expected something else. And
he tried to get me on his side. I just said I never seen it, so
the filmmakers did not make the movie for him. They didn't say, well, we have to please Paul Rocky. They don't even know he exists. and that's something that he's either not choosing to understand, or he just doesn't understand. I understand he doesn't like the movie, and I respect that he doesn't like the movie. But at the same time, the grown-up thing would be for him to respect that I like the movie. End of story. We can't agree on everything. We agree on Logan. Did you see Logan, by the way?
No. I probably should.
That is fantastic. Do you remember the Reavers?
Yes.
They modernized the Reavers in such a clever way. I was already really into the movie, but as soon as I saw the Reavers, I was like, okay, this movie is fantastic. And it was one of my favorite movies of last year. The second question I wanted to ask, or actually expand upon, is you had mentioned that you had kind of grown out of sports and you had grown more into wrestling. I feel that way too. Even though I still follow sports, I still love basketball. Professional basketball is still my favorite thing.
Yeah.
I stopped following teams because when you follow teams and they lose, it hurts. And you're like, my team was going to win, and then they didn't. And now I'm angry. I'm angry at everyone. I'm angry at my family. I'm angry at my spouse. I'm angry at this blanket. Get this blanket off of me. And you don't get that with wrestling. Wrestling is you have a favorite wrestler, but if he or she loses a match, you're like, okay.
Yeah.
And then they move on and they
some
train.
Some people. There are some people who are totally into it, and I mean, I always grew up knowing it was fake.
Mm.
I mean, nobody had to tell me anything. Nobody had to say, go, it's fake. Even when I was little, I'll be just sitting there going, so a lot of the stuff they do is pretty much illegal. I go, so somebody did this to you, why don't you just go to the cops? And I was like, it's fake. It's like the stuff they're playing, like they're acting out stuff,
Yeah.
like a play or stuff like that. So I'm like, even when I was little, I would just be like, so a lot of the stuff they're doing, but why aren't the cops interfering in them? They're doing, they're attacking somebody who's not in a ring. Should not be illegal. Isn't that assault?
Yeah.
Why are you? I'm like, why don't you go to the police?
The outcomes are fake.
Yeah. But even that's how even when I was little, I was going, and everybody goes, it's fake. I said, yeah, no. I'm like, really? Duh, I could have told you that.
So that whenever I mention that I love wrestling, 9 times out of 10 I get, it's fake, right?
Yeah, I was like, yeah.
I give them this look, my look hopefully my look says no shit. But what I like to do is I like to maybe point out a show that they like. Let's say Game of Thrones or Sons of Anarchy, which is no longer on the air, but
yeah.
Let's say Game of Thrones, for example. I say, Game of Thrones is fake, right? And they say, well, yeah, it's a TV show. I said, wrestling's the same thing. Wrestling is a show where the stuntmen are doing the acting and they resolve their problems through wrestling. It's the same shit.
Well, yeah, every time I'd be like, there's really not a guy who's dead. He's not a dead man. There's
Undertaker.
He doesn't have it. Goes. His brother doesn't really walk around with a mask all the time, and has magic powers to throw flames. It's like, no. I grew up going, yeah, this is all. It's entertainment. They're playing a part in a movie, And everybody goes, well, that they're not. Their moves are. What they do is fake. I'm like, to an extent. I'm like, you can't. I'm like, you can't fake a guy Big Show or Yokozuna like doing a drop on you, it's gonna hurt. They can do it where it doesn't hurt as much, but it's still,
For the listeners, Big Show and Yokozuna are the late Yokozuna.
Yes.
Are extremely large gentlemen. I think they're both about 500 pounds.
I think Big Show lost weight.
Okay.
He might be,
I saw
he might be below 400 now. He got abs.
When I don't have abs. When people say that too, because I hear the arguments, right? It's fake. The moves are fake. I say, look, these people do this for 9 months out of the year. How do you think you would feel being slammed on your back for 9 months, even though you know how to fall, even though there's a person assisting you to make sure that you don't get injured and don't break your neck? How do you think your back is going to feel? These people do get injured, and it hurts. They break limbs.
Yes.
They pull muscles. They tear muscles. Remember what happened to The Rock? He tore his stomach lining, right?
Yeah.
Something that's really bad, and he had to go into surgery to get it repaired. People underestimate wrestling a lot, and it always gets into my skin. I was like, no, stop saying these things. You don't know, man.
I mean, Triple H in the middle of a match tore his quad and still finished it. He was out for like almost a year.
In Lucha Underground, Ivelisse, she broke her ankle and she finished the match.
Yeah.
That's baller status. Those guys are tough, and they do it for practically every day, 9 months a year. They get some vacation sometimes. If they get injured, they're off, but they have to go back into the gym and they have to, get their cardio back up.
Well, then it's not even counting. That's not even counting people who are on independents or something like that, who don't have like the WWE's medical team and medical people who to go to,
or the WWE money.
Yeah, it's like if they get injured, it's like they don't have to pay for it. It's WWE pays for it. Goes, hey, we're gonna send you to this doctor in Indiana. He'll take care of you, and then everything's done, and they'll still get paid, for being out.
Wait, is it a doctor in Indiana, or is it a doctor named Indiana?
Can be both.
Is his last name Jones? Because he's not actually a medical doctor; he's an archaeologist.
Well, times are tough. He could have gotten a degree.
Maybe he went to Hollywood upstairs medical school like Dr. Nick Riviera.
But I'm like, there's a lot of people who don't, who get injured and they don't have the money. A lot of times the money to do it, or or a big company behind them to be like, hey, go here, get this done, or do this,
Yeah, absolutely.
So they're like, and then whenever they're out, they don't get paid at all.
Yeah.
I'm like, when wrestlers are out, they don't get paid a lot, but they're still under a guaranteed contract.
When was the last time you drove around this area? This is like North Fancy Glendale.
Dude, I haven't drove around in a long time. All I do, wake up, go to work, come home, play video games, rinse and repeat.
That's my life, right? My life is work, home, girlfriend. Work, home is, sometimes the order is reversed. Sometimes it's girlfriend, work, home, or home, girlfriend, work, or girlfriend, home, work. But that's all. Oh, and show. Once in a while I get to go ahead and record my show once a month. But yeah, that's currently my life. I did a drawing today that took me over an hour. I haven't drawn like that in a very long time, and it felt good. I had a little bit of space in my schedule, and I said, you know what? I'm inspired to draw, so I drew.
Man, I know. I plan on, dude. I know they opened up a Cracker Barrel. I want to go to that.
In Victorville.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So I ate at Cracker Barrel.
Everybody I know except me is eating at Cracker Barrel.
Charlie hasn't eaten at Cracker Barrel.
Dude, well, okay.
See, and you know him. You've known him for a very long time. Let me tell you something about Cracker Barrel. Cracker Barrel is good.
Yes, I know. Everybody I know. I've actually gone on YouTube and have watched people eat, and I'm like, it looks good. It looks good. And my mom's going, it's far. I said, I don't care. That's worth a drive.
It's actually not as far as Santa Barbara.
Well, April's going with me. So I'm like, hey, you got a better car. We're driving.
Or Newport Beach on a traffic day.
Yeah.
When are you guys going?
Have no idea.
Oh. Well, with April, it may take you like 7 months.
No, she wanted to.
Shout out to April. April, I'm just playing with you.
She wanted to do it
me.
sooner, but then I got sick, healed up, got sick again, healing up now, getting over it, and so.
Let me tell you something about Cracker Barrel. Make sure you ask for maple syrup. They will give it to you in this little tiny bottle, and you can actually take it home.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, and it is good. A Little Drive is not sponsored by Arby's. Arby's makes these really delicious sandwiches, especially the beef and cheddar. If you've never had an Arby's beef and cheddar, it's roast beef, it's melted cheddar cheese, it's Arby's sauce. I like to add a little bit of horseradish, which is actually called horsey sauce at Arby's, and then some extra Arby's sauce after that. And it's a big sandwich, and I have big hands, so it fills my hands up, and I bite into it, and it's warm, and it's delicious, and the sauce just drips from it. And I'll also get the jalapeno poppers that they have there. They have some sweet sauce that also goes with it. That's my combo right there. The Arby's beef and cheddar and the jalapeno poppers. It's delicious. Unfortunately, there's no Arby's close to me. I have to go to Hollywood or Alhambra to get an Arby's, but hopefully they'll build one eventually here in Glendale, or maybe in Eagle Rock or Pasadena or Burbank. Shout out to Arby's for making really delicious food. So I went with my girlfriend to Texas in October. We went to visit her uncle, and then we also got to see an uncle of mine who also lives out there. We don't have the same uncle. That's nasty.
I think so.
But there are two places that I absolutely had to eat at, as well as Texas barbecue. That was important. Yeah. Waffle House and Cracker Barrel. Right? Have you heard of Waffle House?
Is that the actual name, Waffle, or just?
Yeah, it's called Waffle House.
No, actually never heard of it, no.
Okay, so Waffle House is a franchise that is not in California, but they're in Arizona, New Mexico, Texas, and I haven't gone past Texas, so I don't know if they're... Oh yeah, I think they're in the South too. Georgia, Louisiana, Florida,
etc. All the good restaurants.
And it's pretty much a diner that has these giant waffles, and you can get some grits on the side, you get some eggs. It was very good. And Cracker Barrel was the other one, and man, I'm very glad that I got to eat at those two places. Yeah, you definitely got to go.
I do want to go.
Cracker Barrel. You should take pictures and video. And if they have like a XXL burger challenge, you should take it.
No, I'm not doing that again. I don't have the...
You don't have the...
I don't have the stomach for that.
So I have to tell that story. A few years ago, we were celebrating Charlie, previous guest Charlie. We were celebrating his birthday at Fat Burger in North Hollywood. And they had the XXL burger challenge, and you took the XXL burger challenge.
Yes.
You do love eating because food is delicious.
I think it's me and one other person.
Yes, it was Al.
Okay,
that's future guest Al. I do want to have him on the show. And you get this massive burger, and at one point, Charlie and I are sitting at the opposite table, and we look across and we see the table you're sitting at. And you have this look of defeat.
Oh, God, it was so much meat.
Charlie and I, having known you for as long as we have, almost 3 decades, have never seen that look on your face before. And we were nudging each other. We were like, oh, man, do you see Michael's face? And Charlie's like, oh yeah, and that was a pretty good impression of Charlie.
It pretty was.
And we were shocked, but you finished it. You finished it. You made it through.
Yeah, I think I bit into a piece of lettuce, and I was like, it was the best piece of lettuce I ever had. And that kept me going. I was like, oh my God, there's a lettuce. Okay, I can do this.
What was in that burger? I don't remember.
Oh geez, I don't forget how many patties it was.
Wasn't it 3? Like 3 thick patties?
I think maybe 3 or 4.
Okay.
And it's like then it's like I didn't realize you could just do it like that, but I think me and Al added stuff to it, like lettuce, tomato, and this stuff, and I go, I think we're eating, and we realize, because that just added more stuff to it.
Yeah, you could have just done the 3 patties.
But I think it actually helped because like we were just so sick of eating meat.
Yeah.
Bite after bite is meat, the same thing, same taste, same texture, and then I think when you bit into a tomato or lettuce, you're just like, oh my god, this is the best one ever.
How long were you in the bathroom that night?
Actually, I wasn't. I
yeah.
I think. Like I wanted to go home and sleep, and then and then for whoever it was, it's like, well, let's go to a bar, and then you guys went to a bar, and like thank God you guys found a booth, because I just plopped down in the corner. I was like going, oh my god, my stomach. And I think I just drank water because because of all the meat and fat and grease and everything. It was just like I was like just getting dehydrated. I was like I needed water.
Yeah, we did go to a bar afterwards in Toluca Lake because people wanted to buy Charlie some shots for his birthday, and they did. You drove, so I was like, I think Al was the smart one. I think he went home after that. He was like, I'm done. Yeah.
And I was like, oh, lucky.
We had a lot of people with us that day. I love that liquor store, by the way. That liquor store has a very, like, if you walk inside, it looks like a lot of the 80s liquor stores that were in Glendale at the time.
I haven't been in that one in a long time.
Yeah, I really like it. And nobody ever really likes a liquor store, but I like that liquor store. I like it.
Oh no, I like the one liquor store. Whenever I go up to Joey's place in Crestline,
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, I like the liquor store by his place.
What's so special about that liquor store?
Since it's up in the mountains, it's like just one of those liquor stores that has a little bit of everything.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so it's like you go into one corner, there's like all these old comic books, or like they're not in good condition, but it's like going, dude, nice.
Are they on like a spinner rack, or is it in a magazine?
Like that one bookstore used to be in the Eagle Rock Plaza.
Walden Books.
No, that one thing where it's like dollar books.
Oh,
and then they had
that place.
And then they had all the things where it's like all the comic books. You just looked at it stacked on each other, all messed up and everything like that.
Oh wow.
But they would just have it. I remember going there one time, just going, dude, all these suck, but it's kind of cool.
Mm-hmm. Was it nothing but like, shoot, I was trying to think of some lame comic.
It was those. I think it was mostly DC and like other ones.
Green Lantern, because I
no,
don't
it was like just well, no, I think it was just like hardly known DC character.
Oh, okay.
But it was still cool just to see that.
Hardly Known Comics Volume 4.
Yeah.
Starring Unsuperman and Mouseman. DC characters that people don't.
The only reason I even say I like it is because that's probably the only liquor store I go into. I don't really go into many liquor stores.
Mm-hmm. Well, we don't. Well,
yeah.
You drink occasionally. Like, it's really rare when you drink.
Yes.
So, yeah, I mean, you wouldn't really have a need to go into a liquor store unless you're buying a candy or a popsicle or chips or something.
Yeah, sure. But it's like that up where he lives, it's like, late at night and you're hungry, that's the only thing in walking distance.
Really?
Yeah.
God.
It's not that far from where he lives, but like the other, from what I understood, there used to be like a bar and a / Italian restaurant, but that burned to the ground. So now I get sad because that's what I used to do. I go up there and like I'll get a pizza or something from there and then take it to his place. But now I can't do that. It was
an Italian bar restaurant that burned to the ground.
It was a bar and an Italian restaurant, but like it was separated. So, but I guess but it was owned by the same person, I guess.
Okay.
But I guess he told me one time. Something caught on fire, so both places burned to the ground, and they haven't rebuilt anything there yet, which is kind of sad.
Oh wow! I saw that Goodfellas. They bought that restaurant and then they burned it themselves. You think the same thing happened? You think the Goodfellas went into Crestline, all the way up to Crestline, and burned their restaurant?
I don't think not in the mountains. It sucks because there's really nothing. Because it was like one of the few places that was open late, since everything closes at 6 up there.
Isn't there like a 7-Eleven close by?
7-Eleven, yes, but then it's like 7-Eleven, so it's like, they're just gonna have stuff that you could get at any 7-Eleven. But it's like when I drove up there, I was like hungry and everything, and it was either McDonald's or the Italian place, and so I was like, well, I can get McDonald's anywhere else. Let me go to the Italian place.
Shout out to not sponsor McDonald's. Just want to say that I have a lot of not sponsors on the show because they don't know we exist
yet.
Yet, that's
Yeah,
right.
yet.
Yet. And Mark Mariah, producer of the show, he definitely wants me to do some commercials. So I do the not sponsors.
There you go.
And they're usually just me talking about a place I love. I've done Jersey Mike's because I love Jersey Mike's. I've done Arby's because I love Arby's.
Technically, you could add Cracker Barrel to it because you love Cracker Barrel.
Oh my God, that's such a great idea!
And technically, you did it. You just told me how good everything
Oh
was.
my God!
See?
I gotta do like a dedicated.
Oh, so there you go, dedicated one.
A dedicated spot just for Cracker. Michael, you're a genius.
It happens occasionally.
Wow.
Not much.
That's me. I call myself an accidental genius. Because sometimes I say something and it's really random and dumb, but it's actually a pretty good idea. That's what people tell me, and they say you're a genius. I say I'm an accidental genius. But yeah, I have to do a Cracker Barrel commercial. I got to do 2. So I'll do one for Cracker Barrel, and what's something that I like? I've done one for the Switch. I have to think. I don't know. Maybe I'll do like Toys R Us or something. We'll see.
Do it before they close down.
This one's not closing down. All the ones that are closing down are all the ones in like Riverside and Redlands, and maybe if there's a Toys R Us in Crestline, it's not going to be there for much longer.
Dude, there's nothing to have a Crestline. Dude, there ain't no chain anything except for like a 7-Eleven and McDonald's and the Subway. That's it.
Shout out to 7-Eleven, to not sponsor 7-Eleven, and also not sponsor Subway for existing and for not being a sponsor of A Little Drive. So we are nearing the end of today's show. Do you have any words of wisdom that you could pass on to our listeners? Something really, really smart, like don't forget to actually wipe your butt before you pull up your pants or something like that.
Dude, I think I just blew it by giving you the idea for the Cracker Barrel.
You know what?
I think I just did it. That was it.
I think you're right.
It's one a day, and I used it on that.
Oh, well.
Yeah,
consider that your good deed for the day.
Yeah,
that you gave me an
so
idea
it usually
for
happens once a day, and then that was it. I was like, if I knew you were going to say that, then I would have been like, nope. I would have to hold that back.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you let it out.
Yeah, okay. Well, it's helping you get a not sponsor. So
yeah, that's right. Yeah, Cracker Barrel. Well,
just blew it on that.
Look, the police are there. Michael, avoid the police. Thank you very much for coming on the show today.
Well, thank you very much for having me.
Bye.
Bye.
A Little Drive is hosted by me, Jose Swaswa, and is produced by Mark Mariah, who also provides our music. Find him on Twitter at MarkLarArt with a K. I'm also on Twitter and Instagram at Jose Swaswa, and also check out my website, quicklunchbreakreviews.com. Thank you for coming on A Little Drive with us today. We'll pick you up for the next one.